Number 3, the definition of beast, head, horn are clear from Daniel and need to be applied consistently in the Revelation. Absolutely. That's why I wrote the Beast Apocalyptic, and there's not another book like this out there. I haven't found it. I've read a lot of books. This should have been in the Hori Apocalyptic. This is one place I feel that E.B.L. Eliot neglected, or perhaps wasn't ready for, or just hadn't been revealed yet, as to putting this all together for the day that we're living in. It was necessary, and I think if he had read this, he would have agreed with it, and he would never have considered the earth beast to be the false prophet, because when you consider that explanation, you realize that it is 100% founded and settled upon conjecture only. But let's get back to Kent's email here. So he said, the definition of head, beast, head, horn are clear from Daniel, need to be applied consistently in the Revelation. Number 1, beast, temporal power that is world dominant and strongly affects God's people, Israel and or the church. You could say empire, starts with a specific locale, doesn't overlap another beast locale unless it subsumes, he says, or assimilates it, I say. Not used to the word subsume, okay, but I looked it up. I usually do that when I'm not sure of a word, but it means or assimilates it, because all of the sea beast powers, the 4 sea beast powers enumerated through Daniel and the Revelation, they all rose up and assimilated the territory and the power and dominion of the beast before them in succession, until finally you had the Roman beast, which assimilated them all in that locality, in the 10-horn locality. Moving on. Number 2, horn, center of power, kingship, throne, dynasty. And I'm adding the things in highlight here because these are my answers to him. I would restate this as a division of territory represented by or held by a particular beast power, because John says that they had received no kingdom as yet at 95 AD, even though the same horns were noted 600 years earlier by Daniel. So certainly they hadn't received power as yet then, 600 years. So you're looking at 1,000 years where they had not received power, but the horns were noted. Okay? So they were, I'll jump back into my text here. So even though the same horns were noted 600 years earlier by Daniel, so that they were mere placeholders or divisions of the locality in anticipation of the sub-kingdoms that would variously come to occupy them in the future. Okay? So that's the correction or clarification, I should say, that I would add to the horn there. But like I said, that's all laid out in the Beast Apocalyptic. Yeah. This is like a real key to the interpretation of Daniel and the Revelation. Anyway, number 3, Kent continues, head. And he says center of power. I would say dominant center of power, because they don't all continue to be centers of power once they're assimilated in the last beast. Rome becomes dominant. So I add, of which Rome was the final dominant power over the whole sea beast locality. And he adds, it likely includes city in addition to horn, okay, which I didn't quite get. And he says, with these assumptions, so we have more assumptions added to that. And I believe that we're talking about more, I'm not sure I would use the word assumptions here. This would be conclusions, settled conclusions, as that's what I'm getting to. Not just assumptions or thesis, but settled conclusions upon the historicist method, which is what we share, obviously, from reading. So I'm looking for other like-minded people, too, to talk these things over with. So this is very helpful. He says the first beast of Revelation 13 would be papal Rome, Europe, which resurrects power of the old Roman Empire, but instead it's headed at the Vatican at Rome instead of the imperial seat of Rome, but it is still Rome, okay, with the 10 Germanic tribes kingdoms dominated by the papacy as the little horn. Okay, the 10 Germanic tribes caused the division of the Roman Empire, and those Germanic tribes settled in the Roman Empire and were dominant for a very short time, but the effect they had on Western Europe changed the whole face. I mean, talk about an earthquake. The earthquake that happened with the Germanic tribes, and we're speaking of political earthquake of kingdoms and dominance and redrawing of lines. That was the last time that we saw such a shaking. So, and then the French Revolution would be the next one. But then in the seventh file, there's another great shaking that shakes up the whole world. But anyway, let's get back to it here. I can comment so much on so much of this. Let me get a sip here of something. Well, it's good to see. Let's see. Okay, we still have the same people in the chat room. No more questions. Just a lot of hellos and highs. Good to see you all there, and pretty static in the in both chat rooms. So anyway, good to see everyone. Okay, continuing with our letter here from the second beast would clearly be the U.S. if we assume it comes after the first beast, since all the other details match the U.S. and the U.S. is the only world dominating power to arise after Revelation was written. The British Empire could possibly fit that, but doesn't match the other details. With the U.S. being the second beast, it makes a very strong case for the image of the beast being the UN. Okay, assuming all of the above, I can see why the papacy would be the false prophet. And the argument comparing that to Jesus as the true prophet is compelling. And I would say by now that it's incontrovertible. Although I've read a lot of things that question it from the past, but I think it's incontrovertible that the false prophet is the papacy, the man of sin, because he is the antithesis, as the Antichrist is the antithesis of Christ, so the false prophet would be the antithesis of the true prophet. And it fits, it works, I can't exclude it by the scripture. So, and I have other reasons for excluding other ideas out there. So every time I consider, because I consider all the ideas, and if I think there's something stronger, well, I'll say it. But anyway,